Forget about superheroes. The main thing we love about superheroes is their costumes. No matter if it's bright and colorful or dark and mysterious, or something in between, there's nothing quite like seeing our favorite superhero costumes translated from page to screen.
I don't think it's that simple.
But while we're all distracted by the awesomeness of the aesthetic, did you know a lot of superhero costumes hold hidden secrets? Oh yeah. Today's video is all about secret details in MCU costumes that you may not have noticed before. So stick around because we're getting into it right now. Remember the good old days when Bruce Banner struggled with the uncontrollable rage monster inside him, and every so often he'd lose control and smash everything in sight? Ah, those were the days. Now Bruce Banner's mind completely controls the Hulk's body, and honestly, we're still a little torn. Is Banner happy never being able to ride most roller coasters or ride an elevator ever again? And what happened to Hulk's personality? Was he completely okay with Banner taking over his body? We digress. Let's talk about pants instead. One thing about the Hulk that has remained consistent in all of his live-action appearances is that even though he rips out of his clothes, he never loses his pants. Which is probably a good thing, because Thor saw Hulk naked once in Ragnarok, and even the God of Thunder had to turn away. While it may seem like just a convenient PG solution, there's actually been an attempt to justify it in the MCU. It's been stated that Tony Stark made Bruce a special pair of pants for when he hulks out. Because on top of turning into a rage-filled monster, it's even worse for Banner to wake up somewhere completely naked. When shrimpy Steve Rogers suddenly turned into a beefcake, there was a lot of questions surrounding his strength and power level. Sure, he suddenly shot up from being last pick to first pick during a kickball game, and he gained a series of skills like running really fast, enhanced strength, and for some reason became really accurate at throwing circular objects so they bounce right back to him. But there's one question that gets thrown around every now and then. Is Captain America bulletproof? We mean, what's actually stronger, a bullet or Thanos' punch? It's gotta be the Thanos punch, right? No way the alien that can pummel the Hulk without breaking a sweat is less powerful than a bullet from a gun, right? And we saw Steve take an absolute beating from Thanos and get back up again. But if we're just going off his suit from Captain America the Winter Soldier, then maybe Cap's not as tough as we thought. The suit from that movie is made out of Kevlar, making it completely bulletproof, which seems to suggest that Cap can't take a bullet normally. But who knows, maybe bullets just sting a lot and Cap would rather not deal with that.
Hail Hydra.
You know, we totally agree with Peter Parker on this. If Iron Man really didn't want Spider-Man to join him and Doctor Strange on their space mission in Infinity War, then he shouldn't have given Peter a super suit that allows him to do everything. Okay, well, maybe not everything, but at times it sure seems like it. The advanced Iron Spider suit is packed to the brim with gadgets and gizmos that Peter barely scratched the surface of. We'd love to be a fly on the wall when Tony Stark was designing Peter's suit and just throwing out random things to be included. Parachute, big mechanical spider arms, compartment for snacks, kill mode. There's gotta be a kill mode. But in seriousness, we know that Tony Stark didn't actually design the suit. That falls on people like senior visual development artist Rodney Fuentembella, who worked on the Iron Spider suit and functionality. Fuentembella has revealed there are a ton of functions that we haven't got to see fully integrated yet, ranging from small things like lights to help Spider-Man see in the dark, as well as the mechanical arms to block incoming bullets. At one point, there was even a discussion about firing sonic blasts from the arms. We'll see if that ever shows up in future movies. With every passing Iron Man movie, each suit just kept getting more and more advanced. We mean, what started as a bunch of metal welded together in a cave eventually ended up as a nanosuit that could form all kinds of weapons to go toe-to-toe with giant purple aliens. The point is, Tony Stark's Iron Man suits seemed to be prepared for just about anything, and always had a trick or two up their metal sleeves. We're sad that with Tony Stark gone, we can't see any more upgrades to the Iron Man suit, but we can take a look at some of the past designs to point out some really cool features. Let's take a look at Iron Man 3. When missiles turned Stark's home into rubble, Stark literally blacked out in his suit and woke up when he crash-landed in Tennessee. We're lucky Stark gave his suit more helpful items rather than just cool blast propulsors. It was also shown to contain a heater, a tracker, and even a parachute, all of which helped him survive that situation. Now if he only added an upgrade that made him resilient to Infinity Stones. Too soon? Watching the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the last thing you would call Rocket would be sentimental. He's more the type if you got him a scrapbook or something sentimental as a present, he'd either laugh in your face or find a way to turn it into a bomb of some sort. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 actually touched on this notion a bit by exploring Rocket's tendency to push those he cares about away, and it seems like he experienced major growth during the film. At the end of the movie, during Mary Poppins' funeral, the genetically enhanced raccoon seemed to finally make a breakthrough, and it seems like it was actually a character development that stuck. In Endgame, it's been pointed out that Rocket is wearing the scarf that Peter Quill wore in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and we have to assume he's doing it to honor his dearly departed friend. See? He does care. Or, maybe Rocket just liked the scarf and with Quill gone, finally had the chance to wear it. It could really go both ways.
Are you crying?
No. Yes.
In Avengers Age of Ultron, a lot of our heroes had gotten some nifty new upgrades to their costume thanks to Tony Stark. One such item was designed purposely to make life easier on Steve Rogers. His new uniform possessed strong electromagnetic panels on each of the gloves that allowed Captain America to pull his shield directly back to him, and honestly, it's a brilliant idea. You know how long Cap had to think every time it threw his shield so that it would ricochet back to him perfectly? Cap's a soldier, not a mathematician. But then something must have happened after Age of Ultron, because although it's an incredibly useful gadget, it seems to have completely disappeared. Steve must have preferred normal everyday straps, and really, that 100% sounds like Steve Rogers. Many of the items on this list are super functional, super effective gadgets, or details that really enhance the suit's power in a way that you may not have realized before. And then there's this entry for both Ant-Man and the Wasp's costume that feels just like a fancy costume design flourish. It makes so much sense, but may not be immediately recognizable, which we think makes it even better. If you look closely at both of the suits, you'll see that embedded in their costumes are designs of their insect counterparts, meaning Ant-Man has the shape of an ant on his chest, while the Wasp has a giraffe. Just kidding, she has a wasp, silly. It's a nice detail to the already awesome costumes both these heroes wear. The good news is Ant-Man 3 has been announced, so they can now introduce even more bug-related heroes with cool, subtle costumes. Can you imagine if Ant-Man and the Wasp teamed up with Grasshopper Man and Lice Guy? That's probably not happening, but we can dream, right? We're gonna see these two heroes again real soon, so let's go on noticing cool things about their costumes from previous movies. More Paul Rudd, please! In the massive hit Black Panther, audiences were introduced fully to T'Challa and his homeland of Wakanda, and boy did they not disappoint. Wakanda was just this amazing hidden land that we think definitely rivals Asgard for coolest kingdom. And now that Asgard is space rubble, it's basically running unopposed. But the cool design doesn't just extend to the exterior, no. It has also given us some super cool costumes. The main one being, of course, Black Panther himself. Now we all know how this suit works thanks to the technological genius of Shuri. Whenever Black Panther takes a hit, the suit starts to glow purple to do its storing of kinetic energy that in turn, T'Challa can release as an energy burst towards his enemies. Okay, we lied. We're not quite entirely sure how it works because science is super hard, especially fictional science. But we can say for certain that it looks awesome in action. But there's a hidden detail most people missed about Black Panther's costume. During the scene where Shuri hits him to test the suit, eagle-eyed viewers can make out a hidden message glowing on the suit. Of course, it's in Wakandan, but it has been translated and revealed to say, "I love you, Mom." Someone in the VFX department has had some fun with this. Bucky Barnes has quite a harrowing experience in the MCU. Don't you just hate it when you're a soldier in World War II who gets thrown off a train and presumed dead, but actually you're rescued by Russians who brainwash you and turn you into an enhanced, mind-controlled assassin who has to slowly work their way back from the side of evil to the side of good, only to lose out on the title of new Captain America to some normal guy with metal wings? Yeah, we'd be a little salty about that too. But although Bucky feels like he has a lot to atone for, it definitely looks like he's on the path to redemption. And we mean that literally. He really does look like his past self. A fun costume detail stems from Bucky's look in Infinity War. There's nothing super special about his outfit, just some blue armor. But it's pretty cool when you realize it looks a lot like his pre-Winter Soldier outfit in Captain America the First Avenger when he was just a normal soldier. Small details like this definitely bring a smile to our faces. Captain Marvel has definitely caused the most controversy out of any of the new Avengers introduced lately. But putting your thoughts on her as a hero aside, let's focus on her awesome costume because it really is quite cool. We think it's an awesome costume that honors a lot of Captain Marvel's previous comic versions. The 8-pointed star has always been a very important part of the character's costumes in the comics, and we got to see it in live action as well. In fact, she's the only one in Star Force group with the 8-pointed star, which is a nifty little detail. But throughout the movie, there are a ton of references to her past costumes. The mohawk helmet she sports when she wants to kick bad guy butt on her way home from her neighborhood skate park is a reference to her comic book run in 2012. And when Carol and the adorable Monica cycle through different costume colors while trying to find a new look for Captain Marvel, they pass a gray and green one as well as a black and yellow design, which both reference different costumes Captain Marvel had at some point. Another fun tidbit is that her helmet technology is suspiciously like Star-Lord's helmet, which begs the question, did Star-Lord steal his helmet from Starforce? As we mentioned before, Tony Stark's Iron Man suits just keep getting crazier and more high-tech. There seemed to be no limit to what the genius billionaire playboy philanthropist could whip up and include in his suit. But he certainly saved the best for last. Tony Stark's 50th Iron Man suit was his Mark L armor, and it was also his most ambitious suit of all time, while also being one that fans of the comics have been waiting to see for a while. By utilizing nanotech, Stark was able to make a suit worthy enough to fight the Mad Titan Thanos. It looks to be all held in his center chest piece, which when called upon can form around his entire body with ease. It doesn't need any AI and it's completely mind controlled. The really cool thing about the suit is that it looks to have no limit to what it can create. If Stark thinks of a big laser gun, boom! A giant laser gun appears. If he thinks of a jet boosters capable of launching him into space, bam! Jet boosters pop up. As an added bonus, it only weighs about 25 pounds, which makes it easy to transport just about anywhere. The Avengers team is made up of some seriously talented heroes with amazing powers. You've got super soldiers, sorcerers, demigods, and one dude who just uses fake wings to fly. Alright, we admit, sometimes we're a little unfair to Falcon, but we just want to again reinforce the fact that Bucky totally should have been named the new Captain America over him. But although we like to tease him, Falcon has proven himself to be a pretty competent addition to the Avengers squad, thanks to his former military skills and his advanced suit of armor. It's his costume that grants him some amazing abilities, but due to his gigantic wings taking up most of the attention, it's the lesser things about his outfit that tend to get overlooked. For example, look at Falcon's goggles. To some, they're just a way to stop bugs from flying into his eyes while darting through the air, but they're actually a key part of what makes him such a deadly hero. The goggles help him see in multiple spectra, and even include a telescopic and microscopic vision, which we saw demonstrated in his fight against the Ant-Man. Having that lock-on feature makes him an ace shot and a worthy Avenger. Although we started off with a fleeting cameo in Thor, followed by a lackluster debut in the first Avengers movie, the MCU has gone to great lengths to build Hawkeye up in one of the most important roles on the team. Not bad for someone who uses a bow and arrow while constantly fighting demigods, rogue robots, and space aliens. And although it's easy to write off Hawkeye as just having a bow and arrow, there's actually a lot of thought that goes into his arsenal. His arrowheads are actually a wide range of useful items, whether it be explosive arrows, defensive arrows, super cool computer hacking arrows, and everything in between. He keeps those arrowheads at the base of his quiver, and Hawkeye can then quickly attach whatever item he needs to an arrow for immediate use. So for those of you who just thought he keeps all his arrows jumbled up in his quiver, think again. There's a lot of work that goes into being the team's resident Legolas. It's not as simple as just shooting bad guys with arrows, but rather, he's one of the most tactical thinkers on the entire team. In his first solo movie, one of the biggest things that seemed to drive Stephen Strange was his ego. So when his accident completely mangled his hands, remember, don't text and drive, kids, it left him without the one thing he valued most in the world. Of course, instead of moping around, he sought a solution and eventually wound up as Sorcerer Supreme. And although it may not look like it, there was a big change in his costume from his first movie to Thor Ragnarok to the latest Avengers movie. And that's the fact that he doesn't seem to wear his gloves anymore. The bright yellow gloves definitely stood out in his appearance in Thor, but when Thanos came knocking, they weren't around anymore. Now, there could be a simple reason for this. Many people looked at him in Thor Ragnarok and thought although he was comic accurate, the yellow gloves made him look a little silly, so they ditched him for Avengers Infinity War. We like to think it's actually a character choice. The yellow gloves hid his scars, which Doctor Strange was really self-conscious about. But now that he's more confident in himself, he isn't afraid to show off his damaged hands. Doesn't that just sound nicer? Man, we sort of feel bad for Paul Bettany. The dude had the easiest job in the MCU as the voice of Jarvis, but then was suddenly forced to change everything when he was asked to play Vision and sit through hours and hours of makeup application. But although he was vital to everything thanks to him possessing the Mind Stone, we haven't spent a whole lot of time analyzing Vision's powers or his costume. Due to his possession of the Mind Stone, his powers allow him to generate synthetic material, and he certainly put it to good use, creating a costume for himself that allowed him to fit in with the rest of the Avengers' colorful costumes. One of the most interesting things he created for himself was his cape. Didn't Vision see The Incredibles? You should never wear a cape. Well, unless it has cool powers like Doctor Strange's cloak of levitation. But does Vision's cape actually serve more of a purpose other than just a fun fashion accessory? Some have pointed out that if you really look closely at the design of the cape, it appears to have some sort of circular designs embedded in it, and some speculate that this is what actually gives the android his ability to fly.
I suppose we are both disappointments.
Out of all these cool costume details, we have to say Rocket wearing Quill's scarf in Avengers Endgame is one of the sweetest things we've ever seen. What about you guys? What's your favorite costume detail? Was there one we missed? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to CBR for more awesome MCU content. As always, thanks for watching.